Welcome back to True Print for Life. I'm your host, Christina Vera.
And I'm your co-host, Maylin Sambois.
So today is a very important topic, as all of our topics typically are. But I think this one is just so timely because, A, my birthday just passed. Mylene's birthday is coming. It's also a new year. We're only 8-ish weeks into 2026, maybe 10 weeks by the time you listen to this. But I have been finding a very common theme as I've been kind of in this new season. I don't know if I'm not sure exactly what to call it just yet. It'll come to me though. But it's also kind of been like most of the exchanges I've had with other people have also kind of been, there's been a lot of similarities. And I think a big part of it is, what no one tells you about reinvention in your 30s and 40s. And that reinvention, I think it can show up in multiple places, whether it's in your relationships, how you look, how you operate, what you want to do professionally. We've had an episode a few weeks back where a lady was sharing, how she moved into a completely different career, and I think, we sometimes can get so systematic about how we move and we operate that suddenly when these shifts start to happen, you don't really know what to call it. You don't even know how to process it because there's not enough conversation around. There will be a point in your life where things will start feeling different, and you might not know exactly what that is, but I would encourage you to lean in on that because there is and there should be an element of reinvention as you begin to mature and you begin to have gone through so much that it's like, I'll be damned if I'm still doing the same things or I didn't learn what I needed to learn in my 20s. And, I'm not saying everybody gets it by the time they're 30 or 40. It might be later in life. It might be sooner in life. Maybe you figured that out at 25. And congratulations.
Good for you.
Right. But for most of us, because even like the perimenopause, like, I didn't even know what that was until you told me like a few months ago, because even just like health-wise, like I was like, something is off. And then I thought, like I started to internalize that it was me. I'm like, damn, am I just not on my game? Or like, what isn't? It's like, no, you are physically, no matter the amount of vitamins, no matter how much we get the blowouts, you can be putting in all this extra attention, and there's certain things that biologically, inherently, that you can't do anything about. And I think the biggest misstep, I think for me, is not even researching like what I should even be aware of as I was entering 40. And so just understanding that, we need to have more conversations about women's health as it relates to being in your 40s or your late 30s or, and I've heard that even 50s, there's other things that come along with that. So just there's all these things. And I think with the health piece of it came to me even more clearly distinctive. Last week, I was at a American Heart Association luncheon, and they were talking about all the signs of like women who have had heart attacks. And some of this, like, do you even know what the signs are? And I'm sitting there listening, and there was like a 20, I think she was like 24, 25-year-old woman who had a heart attack and had no idea that they were like, oh, you're too young, there's no possible way. And this poor girl had a full-blown heart attack, didn't even know what the signs were. And it was just like, you're in a room full of thousands of women, and we're all like, do we even, like, you know what I mean? Like, how much of what, even from a health perspective, do we just brush off as like, oh, I'm just tired, I'm overworked? And it's like, you could be showing signs of some kind of heart blockage, and you won't even know until you're in a full-blown heart attack. And so there's just things that I don't feel like we talk about enough to really be curious in a way of like expecting. Like I hate to be a reactive person, and I feel like those are things that it's like, dang, I didn't even know this was a thing.
But also, to our credit, there's a lot of things that we're just finding out now. So back in, our mothers didn't talk about it.
No.
Because they had their own other things they were dealing with. And maybe some of this stuff was, because of this, and they didn't even know.
Right.
So there was no name for it. There was no community, no resources. For us, we're finding more because now the internet is being a little more vocal. But what I found out that I shared with you about the brain fog and all of that, I didn't find that out through the internet. I found that through a friend that had been through it. And it's like, oh, you may be having this and it may be related to this. And I didn't find that until my 50s, but I struggle in my 40s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow. So like I got a little bit head start because, you know, I got it before my 50. I got the knowledge before my 50, but I was also feeling that way. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm usually like very high achieving. I am usually very this. I'm disciplined. What is happening? You know? But in addition to our biological transformations that are happening, because the transformation is also the environment that we're living.
Right.
Because this morning I truly had a reflection on myself and I was like, okay, what is happening? Like, you know? And I'm like, okay, yes, the body's going through transformation biologically, premenopause, but it's also the environment that we're currently living in is so heavy.
Yeah.
That your body, right, besides the gray skies, you're also feeling heavy because of the responsibility that you're carrying, right? Because, you know, we support a lot of people. We have to be supportive. We have to be this voice. We're advocating all the time. It's like you're always fighting for something, not against, but for something.
Yeah.
And that can get heavy, you know? So for some people, it can turn into depression. You know, I pray that's not what I have, but, you know, I seek counseling, but it is awareness. So now, you know, talking to our listeners, like if you're in that space, especially if you have been like super high achieving and you always a go-getter and you've been disciplined and you're having a hard time even like getting up, like or even taking the next step, it may not be like something is wrong with you. There's something happening to you, through you, right? And I think one, seeking help is very important. And then taking a pause to evaluate like what is it that you're feeling, what is different, what is off, and then acknowledging that it's not just your body, it's also the external factors that are affecting you. So then it's like, okay, so what do we do to deal with that, right? Like how one of our previous guests talked about being versus doing, right? Are you being present? You know, what are you doing to bring joy to your life? I think joy is resistance. So what are you doing to bring joy to your life? Because if you don't make it an intentional thing, all you're going to submerge yourself is with everything negative that is happening. So you have to interrupt that programming and bring joy.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know, especially for where we are right now in this moment in history.
Right, absolutely. And I think like going, you know, tying into our topic for today, just like, you know, that reinventing in your 30s and 40s, I think sometimes for some of us, like, you know, there's an apprehension to want to do things differently, especially when you're so like, I'm comfortable. I know how this works. I know what the expectation. I don't know what that looks like over there. So I don't want to start trying to make new friends, or I don't want to start, you know, looking for a new career because I got benefits here and I've been here, even though I hate this job, or I hate, you know, the people that I hang with, or the person, maybe even the person that you're with, you know, like I'm not saying that's not a me thing. So I will preface that I'm just using that as an example, you know, because there's no one perfect. And I think everyday relationships, you know, they have their highs, they have their lows. Right now I'm on a high. He did a really good job this weekend. So there's no complaints this week, you know, but in a couple of weeks I might feel differently.
Let's just remember this weekend.
Yeah, this week I'm going to lock this in my memory right now. But I jokingly say that because I think that sometimes, you know, for those that are like, no, I've been feeling like this for a minute, like years or months. I've met people like I don't want to start all over and I don't even know what that looks like. You know, understanding that I truly believe that, you know, growth and change and those are things that are part of life's cycle and they're inevitable. They're hard, they're challenging, they're uncomfortable. But I can't explain the level of just like, I don't know. Like I just like something went off in my mind probably about a year or two ago where I just really like, it was just a switch.
Well, you went through a very hard thing.
Yeah, well, I went, and maybe that
was the awakening. That was the awakening.
You know what?
That was the awakening. You had to go to the lowest possible.
You know, Maylin, I think you were, so in our latest book, The Journey from Who You Are to Who You're Meant to Be, there is a chapter that we talk about this. And so what Maylin is referencing right now is in the book. So if you want to know what was that hard thing, I would encourage you to get the book. It's on Amazon. You can download it. Eventually it'll be on Audible. But now that you say that, I think it had to be.
Absolutely.
Because it was
life-changing.
It was life-changing. And it was just such a raw reminder of just like, damn, all the people, the public aspect of it was one piece of it. But then you just really have like, damn, I do all this stuff for all these people. And not just, and you don't ever expect anything in return because that's not really why you should be doing anything for anybody. But then because folks always assume, because you've always been, from a public standpoint, you got it all together. If you don't, you're gonna figure it out. Oh, she's strong. She's strong. She's always, the go-getter. She's always figured it out. She's good. Don't even worry about it. And then you can start, you certainly, you adopt that persona and you live your life as the strong one, the one that's always got to bail people out. And you always got to, you think about others before you think about yourself. And then something happens, whether, whatever happens. And then you just suddenly sit in that for a minute. You're like, you know what? I don't want to live my life like that no more. I'm no longer going to like you just start rethinking like relationships, interactions, how you do business, every element. And I don't know that I wasn't looking for that. There was no conversation about like, hey, like this could happen. Or even as you get older, you might start thinking about things differently. So just prepare for that. It was just like all of this happened at the same amount of time. And I just was like in such a fog, literally and figuratively, for over 2 years, like probably about 2 years. And I'm just now starting to piece together like who am I now? And like what, like how do I move and operate as her and not what people have always expected me to do and perform at the level that I'm gonna perform. And how do I shed like truly not giving a fuck? Like I really just,
welcome to your 40s.
Like I just don't care anymore. I don't care to pretend. I don't care to like disappoint you. I don't care to like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like this like, I just really like, and it's not a disrespect thing, but I can't live my life like this anymore. And, I guess I just wasn't prepared for that to happen all at the same time, on top of everything that we're also navigating day to day in our world, in our businesses, with our children, with our families. But like internally to be going through this like remix when I'm like, this ain't the time.
It's never the right time.
This is not the time. So yeah, I don't know. I personally, it wasn't on my vision board. It wasn't on my Monopoly board.
It wasn't, but you made a choice to start reinventing yourself, right? Like I seen it. I seen the transformation, and I'm like, wow, it's fascinating. But I think you have to be outside, to look at inside. That's why when you said that, I was like, well, I know exactly when this happened. Absolutely. Because it was a moment you had to make a choice.
Yeah.
You had to either die or survive.
Yeah.
So you had a choice, and you made the choice. And then ever since then, I mean, you've been reinventing yourself for a long time, but I feel like that was such a catalyst to propel you to where you are today and where you're going. So it's a new identity.
Yeah.
And something that I've been hearing a lot this year I've done boot camps. So many motivational, inspirational people. And it's a big, I don't know if it's a call out or a big hot topic right now of identity, right? Like, who are you becoming? Who did you want to be? And sometimes because people have framed us in this place and put us in this box, we feel like we just cannot be who we really are to be. And we're still figuring out who we are. Like, that's so crazy. People think you are something when you're still trying to figure out who you are.
Right.
So how did you come up with who I am? Because I'm still trying to figure out myself is very interesting. But one thing that I'm taking away this year and I'm trying to implement is who am I now, but who do I want to become?
Right.
And what does that person do? Right? Like, how does she dress? Yeah. How does she speak? How does she walk? What rooms is she in?
Right.
how does she manages her money? Like that's new identity of who you want to be. And it took me a second. I really fought it. When I heard, I was like, this is BS. I was like, what do you mean my identity? What is this? But then there was a prompt on ChatGPT that they gave me, and I put it on, and who that person is. I mean, I designed it.
Is that why you asked me to do that?
I did. I did. You know, when I learn things, you coming. Like I don't learn by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like I never learn by myself. So if I learn something, I share my things with Christina because one, we're growing together, you know, we're not just best friends or business partners, like we're like forever, right? So as I learn something, I'm like, okay, try this and tell me what you got and then tell me what it is. So as I'm learning things in rooms, I bring it back to her and I say, I want you to share with me what he said. Okay, this is what he said for me. And then how do we push forward to that version of ourselves that we're supposed to be? So there's a couple of prompts that are really powerful. And if you're interested and you're listening to this, DM us at True Print for Life podcast and IG, or go to our website at trueprintforlife.com, and then we're going to share those prompts with you. But those prompts are great. One, it gave me a new identity.
Yes.
And I put that as a picture, as a screensaver on my phone. And sometimes I'm looking at something, I'm not feeling super hot, and I'm like, yeah, but this is who you're becoming. This is how you dress. So I started looking for that purple suit. I started like, I'm holding a mic because I have something to say. Yes. I want to be on stage and saying the thing. And
I've noticed a difference in how you even speak publicly now. Like, because I've been with you for so many years. So just like you noticing, I've noticed to where before you used to like, and I know it's never like a super exciting, like it's always a nerve-wracking thing.
It is.
But
still.
I remember at the beginning when you had to do like panels and public speaking and you were just mortified. Totally. And now anytime you're like, okay, what are we talking about? And you go up there and you are just so like you just say it. And it's just been very, and so it's no coincidence that your avatar is holding a mic because I've noticed, that is so crazy because I have noticed how you like are positioning yourself in a very different way when you are doing public speaking than you did at the beginning when we first started out.
I was terrified. I was like, no, Christina, you talk. I'm good.
And I'd be like, what? No.
I was like, no, she got it. Because it was a story I told myself too, because where I grew up, I didn't have a voice, even with my parents. So it took a while. Like it really took our friendship and our journey to be able to like believe that I had something worth saying or people listening to. And even when I agreed to speak at things, right before, I think now I'm more confident that I could be like, give me the mic, I'm going to go. But I want to prepare because I don't want to be egotistical. I want to do a good job. But before, I used to call Christina the night before, and I called Mommy. I was like, why did you let me say yes? I am nerve-wracking. I remember being outside Autobahn parking lot one day. We were leaving EIW, and I had to speak somewhere, and I was like, I am terrified. What am I going to say? Why am I doing this? Why did you let me say yes? Now, I had not asked them, but I was telling them. I was blaming them because I said yes. And I remember, you remember you told me that night?
I told you.
What did you tell me?
I told you exactly what the mantra is of this show. I said, you need to, like, this is bigger than you. And you need to go out there. You got things to say. And you were like, okay. And then no idea that years later we would launch a podcast and that would be our mantra. It was just literally in that moment. I was like, Maylin, this is bigger than you. Like, you're going to go out there and you're going to impact all these people. And you have spoken in front of thousands of people.
I have.
Like, I remember watching you for the first time in like a larger setting. And I remember how nervous and all the preparation that went into that. You had to meet with coaches because it was like a big deal. And I just
sold out theater.
It was a sold out theater. And you met with coaches, you prepared, you curated something that was very unique to you. And watching you do that on a stage, and you weren't even, you were still becoming, like, you're not even who you are today.
I know.
Back then. But you went up there and you did that, and I was like, I knew it. I knew. I don't know what y'all knew, but I knew. And just to have watched you go from large settings like that, where it's thousands of people, to one person. To, even just the impacts you have on, because Maylin will go places and she'll somehow meet people. And she's really good at that. But
we both are.
Yeah, but you do it a little differently than me. I don't know what it is. Like, we complement each other so well, but there's something, you have a unique gift about yourself that that light that people are drawn to. And I worry about that sometimes because I know that's
attracts all the things.
You attract a lot of heavy things, and I'm like, girl, you ain't got, but you do it with grace, and you do it because you genuinely, like, that's who you are. Yeah.
That's That's who I am, and I'm becoming, and I listen, because there's sometimes you're like, okay, but listen, you can't do this. I'm like, really? And then I'm in the moment, I'm like, oh, she said it. Oh God, okay, let me see what I can do. So that advice, I trust it, because I always say, listen to where the advice is coming from. Who's a resource? Who's a source? Because not everybody wants the best for you. So when I get it from you, I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen. I'm going to process. I'm going to pray on this because I know you want my best interest at heart, and the same thing for me to you. So it's important that you have people that would tell you the truth, that will give you good advice, because this life could be really tricky. But for me, it's been a journey, right? For us to get to this moment. Like, even when we did our podcast and I was coughing the whole day, but we get to the launch and I don't cough once. I had the
book launch. You talking about the book launch? Yeah.
Yes, I had the cough drops next to me. I had prayed about it.
Not one time on that stage. Not once.
And it's the most I spoke.
Yeah, because you spoke a lot, and I know you were battling just recovering from being sick, and you were like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I might get up there and start coughing.
You take over.
And I was like, okay, but you literally did not cough the entire event. Like, you went up there and you did it, and you spoke, and you were just like, you were on point, and you didn't have one. No need. Yeah.
No, I didn't need to take one. It was really God, guys. I prayed about it. I mean, and the audience was shocked too. I think some people had never heard me speak before like that. So they were like, oh my. So it was great. But I'm becoming more intentional about who I want to become, because every year, like, I think I'm this person, or I've been this person, and that person is no longer serving who I need to be.
Yeah.
Like, it served me for a long time. It got me here. I'm grateful for everything that Maylin version of me was. But now I'm going to be version 4.4, right? So I'm version 4.3. I'm becoming version 4.4. What is that version of me going to be now?
Right.
What are the goals that I want to achieve? And what do I have to do differently now that I know whatever I was doing before was not helpful. So, like, I started, even when I implement some things, I'm like, it doesn't make sense to me. But I got that avatar. I was like, I need to see what I can't see. Yeah. Right? Because maybe I cannot imagine it. But ChatGPT gave me the thing, and it was like, this is your identity. Yeah. You wanna have a message. You have this book. Okay, great. So this is what I see.
Right.
And this is who I every day I look at her. I'm like, okay, I need to get the purple suit. Okay, great. I started Googling the purple suit. I'm like, when I start speaking, I'm gonna have different versions of the purple suit. Maybe like some days black with a purple shirt. Maybe it's a purple suit with a black shirt, and I'm gonna have different things. But
purple is the color.
It's gonna be purple because it means royalty.
Okay.
So to me, purple has been a very important color for a long time. Once I understood what it means. It means royalty. It means fineness. It means like everything that I'm intending to be. I think that color kind of like, complements it. And it looks good on me too, by the way.
Yes.
So I want to put it, and that's like a roadmap, a North Star. So if you are trying to figure out who you are, I'm telling you, the prompt is bomb. Like, you should really DM us for this. And then once you have that, it doesn't change quickly, because at first I'm like, this is so weird that I'm doing this. Why am I even doing this? But I look at that picture every day and I'm like, okay, sometimes I'm like, what are you doing? No. Or I don't want to do something. And I look at the picture, I'm like, I got to do it, because that version of me, that my new identity says I have to do it. This is where I'm going,
Right.
So that kind of pushes me a little bit to where I want to go. I'm not there yet. Right. But I am on my way to that version of me. And next year I'll be version 4.5.
Right.
And that version will be work optional.
Right.
So I'm working towards becoming work optional right now. Yeah. That is the goal.
That is so true. And I think for our listeners, wherever you are, you start there.
Yes.
As you've mentioned, certainly feel free to get a copy of our book. We really outline some tips, tools, and strategies on how you can, begin to create the disciplines that you need for what Maylin is describing around the becoming. And that's a never-ending journey. And so it's not, a final destination. It really is life's journey. And, know that if you're feeling different or things are no longer fitting you in the way that they used to fit you, that happens. And, this is something that as women, we need to find more women or allies that we can talk to about this kind of change and redefining, what is priority, who are you becoming, where do you want to go, how do you want to show up in rooms, how do you want people to describe you in rooms that you're not even in. And I think that to me is always so like when people are like, oh, I've heard like somebody's mentioned you to me before, and I'm like, I wonder what they said.
Yeah, what did they? No, I was like, what did they say? Do you want to tell me what they said?
How exactly did they say it? And it was just such a it's such a beautiful. I feel like every single time you never take that for granted. You never feel like, oh, well, that's what they better say. It's like, no. Like there should always be a humbleness, even though you work so hard for that to be what others see and receive. It, not because it's performative, but because that's really who you are. And that's really at the baseline of how you want to live your life every single day.
And it makes me think, so I read something or listened to something like, can you explain who you are quickly? Can you, what you're about, your values? And can you explain your business? And I'm like, we do so many things. And that made me think, like, we have to spend some time and either redefining or streamlining some of the things. Because I want to be able to get up somewhere when I give my short bio, like, you will walk away knowing exactly who I am, but exactly what I do.
Yeah.
And what my businesses and our stuff do. And because we do so many things, sometimes like, what hat am I giving you today? Especially when you wear in different hats, you're like, But now this is an opportunity to redefine, like, this is what I do. Yeah. And I want to have it in a sentence. And for me, as you know, I talk a lot. That is a challenge, right? So I was like, well, I can't do this alone. We have to come up with that. But it's important to start, like, as you're redefining yourself, figure it out. Like when somebody, like Christina's point, when you leave a room, what are people going to say about you?
Yeah.
And you don't have to perform. It's just, what do you want people to say about you? And be that person. And if you have a business and somebody else is describing your business to somebody else because they're referring you, what do you want them to say about your business? What does your business do?
Right.
What problem does your business solve or solve for them? And that's where I've been like marinating for the last few days. Like, okay, I wanna have that locked in. So then it's clear for people how they can hire us, how they can do certain things. For now, the book is super clear. Like, it gives you our journey, but it also gives you a strategy.
Right.
It gives you our stories and how we overcome things, but it tells you how you also can start taking the next step. Because sometimes the next step is the hardest thing. And here it tells you exactly how you can take the next step. So right now, if you're trying to redefine who you are, it's never too late. I've seen people in their 80s and their 90s redefining who they are. There's never too late. Today, take one step. If you don't know like who you are, you got time.
Yeah.
But who do you want to be?
Right.
Who do you want to become?
Right.
Right? What is that person doing, eating, wearing, sharing, talking? Like, figure that out, because if you know who you want to be, then you can start walking your way back to where you are right now and start taking little steps daily to get to that person.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
And I would add to that is, once you know who you are and the steps that you're taking, you also know who you're not.
Right.
So any kind of labels, any kind of, habits or behaviors that you've inherited by other people's opinions of you, you can begin to shed those so quickly, because it's like, no, I'm not the person that always has to have it together. I'm not the person that always has to,
solve it all.
I don't have to drive a certain car so that you will like me. I don't have to, it quickly gives you purpose and guidance on the steps forward, but it quickly will also give you clarity about what assumptions you have inherited based on other people's expectations, other people's, projections of who you are. It will quickly give you the courage, first and foremost, and the peace with releasing the fact that, like, actually none of that really is who I am, or maybe it was a period of time of who I am, but that's not who I am now, and that's certainly not how I want to continue to move my life in this season or moving forward. So give yourself that freedom and that peace, the understanding that as you are redefining and you're moving into these new positions, new friendships, new, just ages in life, like, you're not going crazy.
Nope. It's normal, actually.
Yes, you are going through a season, and we don't talk about it enough. But certainly know that you are not alone. You won't have all the answers all at once. But reinventing yourself is a gift, I think, because it's with the understanding that it's not definitive. Like, you woke up today, you can make a difference. You woke up today, you can make a change. You can start to live your life differently from this moment on. Yeah. It's not something that like, the only time when it's definitive is death. So today you have an opportunity. After you listen to this episode, you have an opportunity. After you read the book, you have an opportunity. And so just know that you still have a gift of life to reinvent yourself at any stage that you're presently in.
And if you're a person of faith, I will add that in. Like, for me, is asking God, like, who do I need to become? Because I don't want anything that God doesn't want for me, right? So I want to know who do I need to become to do what He sent me here to do.
Right.
And I want Him to guide me on that. And then bring the people, the resources. So if you're a person of faith, lean on that. If you believe in the universe, whatever you believe in, but lean on that power that's higher than you, right? To make sure that it guides you as you go into whoever you're becoming and the next person. And then I think it's going to give you the steps also that you need, and the faith, because it takes courage. And if you're not fighting anything right now, I don't know if you're from the God. Because if you are from God, I feel like, and if you're doing His work, it's not easy. Like Jesus, it's not easy to do His work. Right. So if you're struggling right now, you're facing really difficult times, just know that you are exactly normal. And that means that your purpose is so big that you are being redefined right now. You're being, like a diamond right now. You're being shaped. And it's important that you don't give up, but it's important that you know that this struggle is going to make you so much stronger at the end. Yeah. And if you're listening to this, it's not by accident. You have been given a tool. Right. You have the book, you have Christina and I, you have the podcast. There's so many great episodes that can guide you and give you great information. And as always, we're only a private message or a message on our website away to connecting with you and connecting to the right resources.
And share this episode if this has blessed you or touched you in some kind of way. Oftentimes we'll receive the information and it's like, then you just keep it. But if you know someone that's in this journey right now, that you're going through or what we've described, take a moment, pause, leave a comment, share, because you never know, that text message from you with this particular message might just be what they needed to hear today. So we thank you for your continued support. As always, follow us, DM us, certainly continue to send us topics and things that you also want to hear, so that we can ensure that you are getting out of this podcast what our intention of creating the podcast was even about from the beginning. So thank you as always for listening. And as a reminder, it's bigger than you.
Thank you so much for listening today. We're excited and we hope that you follow us on
Instagram, True Print for Life, YouTube channel, also True Print for Life. And make sure that you share, watch our videos. Make sure that you follow us on all streaming platforms.